it was when it was made. When it's cold, it's quite relaxed. It won't take any shape. In the cool state, it's relaxed and floppy. In the heated state, it remembers its former state. That's why you can say it has a memory. So if you make the thing, if you make this piece of wire so it's straight when you made it, then when it's hot, it wants to straighten out. When it's cold, it's just as floppy as a wet noodle, you know. If you take one of these things and put hot and cold water in your hand, it's like a wet noodle. When it's cold, when it's hot, it straightens out very suddenly. It's quite strong stuff.
The actual phenomenon itself is not yet fully understood. An engineer at the laboratories Ridgway Banks set out to build an engine to harness this. In a small workshop across from his office, he designed and built a wheel with nitinol loops hanging from the spokes. He calculated that if he filled a container with cold water and another with hot water, the loops of nitinol, moving from one bath to the other, would bend, then spring back, and that the sudden spring of the nitinol in the hot water would drive the wheel around, thus becoming the world's first solid-state heat engine. He was right.
Science blogs are buzzing over a new experiment, one that leaves most laymen scratching their heads. The study in the journal Science claims to have created an atomic gas with negative absolute temperature, meaning a negative number on the Kelvin scale. Hold on, how does something get colder than the coldest possible state? If you're like most high school science students, you were probably taught that absolute temperature is the measure of how much atoms vibrate. As you get colder and colder, they vibrate less and less until they come to a standstill at absolute zero. But science writers trying to explain the latest experiment say that's not quite the whole story. A more accurate description of temperature would represent a loop. Anything beyond absolute zero or infinite temperature would be in the negative. Hopefully that gets the point across. Negative doesn't mean below zero, it means the opposite of positive. It's basically a different state of matter, a kind of hot-cold.
This suggests a time reversal phase transition associated with certain temperatures that correspond with the forward time particle and reverse time antiparticle interrelationships with certain states of matter. According to this model, hydrogen isotopes such as deuterium could be viewed as forward time beta decay and reverse time anti-beta decay bound in a time loop. Rather than annihilation, a temporal loop is formed that oscillates relative to the temporal asymmetry between phases. This could be used to explain the stability of hydrogen as opposed to antihydrogen.
So hydrogen, for example, consists of a proton and an electron. Now, if you took an antiproton, the antiparticle of a proton, and a positron, the antiparticle of an electron, and put them together, you could make antihydrogen.
They managed to combine the positron and an antiproton together, and they found antihydrogen. But they couldn't stabilize it, because as soon as a particle and its antiparticle meet, they annihilate.
And so the new development is that you actually found a way not only